From the perspective of a young black single mom that have sons, I want to address our sons, and I want to address moms too, and I'll address dad if dad is listening, and I'll address grandma if grandma is listening. Coming from a woman who was raised by her grandmother, and I meant um, I'm holding back tears um, right now, just looking at the state, just looking at the state that we're in. Hold on one second. Just looking at the state that we're in and how a lot of our babies, they're not even making it to their 21st birthday today. I was able to celebrate one of my nieces, not by blood, but she's always called me Auntie Tip. And she turned 21 today. Well, this week. And it just makes me think about how Pharaoh always had it out for the son, for the oldest. When he put a mandate, and if you're not familiar with Pharaoh, and maybe you're not a believer of Jesus Christ, but that was um, the the bounty that was put out to make sure that Jesus was taken care of, right? He didn't want no males, no sons living. He wanted them gone. And I say that because I sit here and I cannot believe that we have allowed ourselves to get to a place where we enable and condone and respond from a victim mentality. And I'm all for, if we got to do the movement of bump the police. Listen, I'm so black down to my core. I am so for our youth. But what I'm learning as one that loved the youth, I take pride in pouring into the youth. I take pride in becoming who I need to be to lead by example, to share with our youth. And I'm like, our youth, they can't raise themselves. And I'm watching moms. I'm watching my peers. I'm watching people that I done club with and that I done grew up in passing. And I'm watching how their sons are being killed by the police. And I don't take pleasure in watching another mom lose her son, because I'm like, my God, it could be mine, right? Because when one hurt, all supposed to hurt. But I can't have that thought and that conversation without having this conversation, because why are we glorifying thug life, gang banging, fighting, and violence in 2026? Why are we still glorifying this? It's not cool. Why are we glorifying the ignorance of our children wanting to be thugs and gangsters, and they don't want to dress professionally, and they don't want to be professionals, whether they want to be entrepreneurs or whatever they want to be? Why are we still glorifying the nightlife, the thug life, which is one of the most popular albums by the world renowned Tupac Shakur, Thug Life, knowing that this brother was one of the most intelligent and articulate brothers there is, but he also was raised by a mother that was on drugs, right? I don't know all of the Tupac story. And if I had to choose, I'm more so gonna go with Biggie, 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 Can't You See? Because his lyrics resonate a little more with me. But we can never take away the fact that those two shaped the culture. But this ain't the 90s. We're not living in the 90s. This is 2026. And I remember when we came into the 2000s, we all thought that the world was going to end, but yet some people worlds are ending in our face. And yet we don't want to take that influence, because let me tell you, if you're a banker, if you're a gangster, if you're a drug dealer, whatever you are, that influence could be used for good. That influence could be used to train up our children in the way that they should go. That influence could be used with an evangelistic anointing to build up the kingdom. And I'm not judging anybody. I grew up in some of the same hoods. And some of them hoods and these ghettos and these projects, my grandma said she dare not took us to. So I'm just sitting here and I'm trying to figure out what mental disorder has taken precedent in our lives and in our families and in the root of our identity that should be royal. It should be one of authority, one of dignity. And yet we pride ourselves in being thugs and gangsters like we not nothing more than that. We are more than thugs and gangsters. We are more than rappers. We are more than gangbangers. Why do I have to have this Black History speech in 2026? Because it's like we've clearly forgotten who we are. We're having an identity crisis, and it is in a state of emergency for our Black sons. And when the sons are affected, then the mothers are affected. When the mothers are affected, then the daughters are affected. There's an infection happening in our culture right before our eyes. And this does not change the fact that there are officers that treat our sons, treat our daughters like dogs. I've had relatives killed by police officers. My uncle, which affected the family, but I know that effect was even more present for the children of my uncle, my cousins, right? This happened when we was all kids. And those children aren't going around here saying, if the police, they're empowering, they're influencing, they're educating. They're trying to be the best that they can be with what they had. Why? Because we all was in the hood. Just because you in the hood, that don't mean it gotta be what the hood is offering, because there are ways out of the hood. There are ways out of poverty. There are ways out if we want to take those ways. Or we choose to remain victims to the system and allow anger and hatred to work against us versus empowering us. I was gifted this bracelet that I have on today. I put it up for a season, and I got my Empower bracelet on, and just like this is the Empower channel. Let me see what they talking about here. Yeah, hide that mess. Thank you, moderators. We have to get to a place where we want to empower each other, empower our children. Did a back to school bash, met a awesome young man. He's a kid. I don't know if he's in the 6th grade yet or anything like that. I don't even know if he's in middle school. And he got a young mom, and mom said, I've been hard on him. I've been on him. I teach him manners. I teach him this. And the young man, I know this boy he's awesome. His coach kicked him off the football team because of his attitude. And unfortunately, a lot of people, when they see our children, I don't know what they see. They may see monsters. I don't know what they see, but we have to see and allow them to see. That's why affirming our children, speaking life, exposing them to more than what we may have had access to. That plays a major part um, in the psyche of our children. The psyche. We need to tap into the psyche of our children's mind while we're carrying them before they turn teenagers, and then they want to be influenced by the most popular trending rapper, and that rapper probably don't even know who they are. They're having an identity crisis. But yet our children may want to model after someone who don't even know who they are. That's why we need to teach that black pride. That's where our ancestors used to come in and they would, I'm black and I'm proud. Come on, that James Brown pride. Come on. That Malcolm X pride. That black power. That Dr. Martin Luther King pride. That pride to be a black man. We need to make sure that we are instilling pride in our children, because I am devastated at the amount of bloodshed that is being done to our youth. They're not even having an opportunity to live. And then when people are sharing the memories of the child is living a whole thug life. The child is not preparing to be sent off to college. The child is not preparing to go into a sustainable adulthood, a stable adulthood, a sustainable career. They don't know who they are. So who's to blame? Who's to blame? And I'm having this conversation because a lot of the blame they want to put on a single mom, but I am a single mom that have bust my behind for mine. And I'm continuing to do what it is I can do for mine, and at the same time allow them to grow and face the challenges that they will have to face, to learn the lessons that they need to learn, and also continue to pour into any youth that I can mentor or coach in this thing called life, so that way they can know that they can be all that God has called them to be. And prayerfully, they don't unalive and end their own lives prematurely, or be in situations that could cause their lives to be ended prematurely. And that is the conversation that we got to be okay with having, because that's the reality of what's happening in the urban communities, where the families have been disappointed and let down by police officials, where police officials have called our children animals, where police officials are locking up the mothers because of the crimes that the children are committing. And this is not to condone any crime or criminal activity at all, but this is just to open up our awareness to what is really going on. And when are we going to be the change that we need? And that change starts at home. That change starts with us. Because we think it's cute. We think it's cool. But it's not. It's sad. It is devastating that people still want to be in gangs, condoning violence, drugs, and all kind of dysfunction, and not wanting to work on mental health, not wanting to change the trajectory of their family, not wanting to get to the root issues so we can all grow and be healthy, to produce healthier children and grandchildren. A lot of us are grandparents, and I'm not a grandparent yet. I'm not trying to be an early grandparent, young grandparent either. But this is some people's reality, right? But yet, we're not leading by example. We're not training them up in the way that they should go. Do you know the way? Because I'm also aware that everybody don't know the way. And if you don't know the way that you should go, then we got to get to the point where we say, well, Tell me which way should I be going, because I noticed the way that I was taught, it wasn't the best. And I only did what I was taught to do, and now I'm doing it, and it's affecting how I'm raising and doing what I'm doing with my family, but I need to be taught a new way. We do know that that's okay. And this is coming from somebody that I've been raised right. And yet I've still had to be okay with unlearning some of the very things that I knew to do. But when you learn that everything that you knew to do might not be the best thing to do, you got to be willing to say, I'm going to let that go. It's time to do some sorting. It's time to do some refiguration. To say, okay, I'm going to let that go. Matter of fact, get to the point, I'm going to let it all go. And Lord, you give me what I need. Because I may be holding on and trying to keep what you want me to let go. And what you may be trying to rewire. What needs to be rewired so a rebuilding and a re-edification can happen in my bloodline. For the sake of my children, my sons, my grandsons, my daughters, my granddaughters. Listen here. We are in the state of an emergency. And either we can have a victim mindset, or we can be strong and courageous and be victorious when it comes to being black in 2026, raising our sons and our daughters. The accountability needs to come back to the adults, because these children cannot raise themselves. And children, you must begin to be accountable and be responsible. If the adults that have raised you and tried their best and gave you what they've given you, you have to take the wisdom that God has given y'all. Because it's written, y'all will be wiser and wickeder. You can see when God began to reveal the foolishness of the elders. The elders have lost their mind. The elders are not in place. The mothers are not in place. The fathers are not in place, which puts the children out of place. No one should have to bury their child. My heart goes out to every mother that has had to bury their child. But we need to really reevaluate how we're raising our children. We can't keep blaming everybody. We can't keep blaming everybody. We can't do it. We can't do it. We're going to have to take responsibility. We're going to have to be accountable. I was seeing something like a reel or a video. I seen some content where they was just talking about the singer Maya, and I'm only referencing the point of her decision not to have any children based upon how she was raised. It was rough, right? And some people be like, wow, it's so awesome. People try to glamorize parenting, and it is one of the most tedious, gut-wrenching things to ever do. Raise and be responsible for another human life. I respect anyone that has made the conscious decision to say, I would rather not bring in that level of responsibility for whatever reason. Because I'm telling you, parenting, it is simply the most beautiful thing that could bring you so much agony. I can only imagine the pain that we've caused God our Father. Because parenting is just one of those things. A beautiful thorn. Because you never know. You never know which way this thing gonna go. And even some of the agony of raising a child is you're looking at yourself, right? You're looking at yourself or the person you decided to bring this child in this world with, if you had a part of that decision. Not to overlook some people that decided to birth the child that they brought in an unconsensual way. I'm not ignoring those factors as well. But it's just one of those things. And we got to start having some of these tough conversations, you guys, because our babies are dying. Mothers are crying. And there is a lack of accountability that needs to take place back in the black community with us adults, with us parents, mothers, fathers, and children. I'm going to be sharing messages like this because, first of all, I'm an educator, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter. I was not raised by my parents. So, coming from somebody who mom was on drugs, and I told my mama, I still felt like, hey, you could have did a pretty good job raising me. And at the same time, appreciating God's way of protecting me. God saw fit to still not allow me to go into a system, into a foster care and all of those things. So I'm grateful, right? So this is coming from somebody who has a very optimistic mindset. I've always been optimistic. I've always been outspoken as a child, and our children are so talented, so gifted. The enemy, he does not have any new tricks. By the time we hit middle school, he already trying to sift us like wheat. Why do you think? And I'm gonna share this. This is one of the statistics for boys. SIDS, the boys' sudden infant death is higher in boys than girls. I've always looked at things like, what is it with our sons? What is it about the boys? And I share this message to encourage any male that may come across my channel. I'm speaking to the little boy in you. I'm going to speak to the area of you that your mother may have not been healed enough to speak to let you know that you matter, you are needed, and you need to rise up and be the leader and the man of valor that God is calling you to be. And I say that because that may be the first time you ever heard it. Because it's a bounty on your head. The enemy been after you before you came out your mother's womb. But now you're here. And Coach T is asking you what you gonna do about it. Are you gonna rise to the occasion? Defy all odds that has been against you, that has been stacked against you? You know all the songs. Dear Mama, you know all the songs. You done felt all the pain. Are you going to turn your pain into purpose? And this is coming from someone who had plenty lemons. Plenty lemons. And I decided to turn it into lemonade. I decided to take the cards that I was dealt, and I'm going to play this hand, baby. And when I play to win. I play to win. I wake up to win. I go to sleep to win. And yes, some days are tougher than others, but guess what? There's a winner in me. So when you hit and come on this channel, the I Am Tiffany Empowerment channel, you might as well subscribe. I don't come on here to play no games. I come on here to empower people. I've already done that. I done made the impact. I done ignited the people. In this season, I want to equip you with the tools to win. And we can win if we align. If we are aligned, we can win. If this is not the channel for you, then go where you need to go. But these messages are a part of our therapeutic, real conversations. Because we got to go beyond where we at. Oh, I'm going to get off here. Because it's hurt me to see other mothers in pain over the bloodshed over their sons. I got 3 children that I had naturally. This has nothing to do with children that I care about. I got my nephews, I got nieces. So that is, oh, I don't like to see my mama's hurting. I don't. But mamas that's having these babies, and now you got these children that are adults. Talk to your sons. Talk to your daughters. Talk to yourself. Talk to me. If you need somebody to help you change the trajectory of the direction that y'all going, we got to change. And change starts here. Saying, you know what? I did not do it right. I did what I knew to do. But now that I know better, I ain't raised my baby right. I might have gave them the best of what I thought I was giving them. But let me tell you what I was left with between the ages of 0 to 12. When my great grandmother used to have to watch me and my sister while our mama was out somewhere in the streets on crack and my grandma was doing them doubles. But she had us at my granny house. My granny would have us at noonday prayer. I would watch my granny. My granny would take us to Bible study. My granny would have us in Sunday school. My granny would have us cut our behinds if we needed to get that butt cut. My granny would make sure that she was instilling into us faith principles while she was praying for her wicked family. I'm just sharing a little bit of my childhood. This before I became a teenager. And my granny would intercede for her wicked family. That's what she called us all to our face. Wicked. She prayed for us and she believed that God would save us. That's what kind of granny I had. While I was raised in the house that was labeled the backslider house. So by the time I was in 7th grade, we didn't need a babysitter no more. I was in 7th grade. My little sister was in the 4th grade. Now we ain't got to go to granny house. But psychologically, I can go back to my preteen. And I thank God for that every day. Because see, once I'm a preteen, that entrepreneurial gift, my entrepreneurial gift happened 12 on up too. But God made sure that faith foundation, that's what I inherited. I wasn't given money. I was given an understanding of a prayer life. I was given an understanding of an example of what to do when times is hard. Come on here. Oh, woo, I'm going to get off of here. But y'all, we got to pray for moms. We got to pray for our sons. And we got to go back to the basics. And it started at home, y'all. That's what I wanted to come on here and say. It started at home. So let's get our houses in order. I love y'all. And if y'all agree with this message, if you need prayer, if you need coaching, comment. Comment below. Subscribe. And I'll see y'all around on the channel. Thank you so much. Share this with a mom that needs encouragement. Share this with the youth. Share this with somebody that want to grow their relationship. Dr. T signing off.